la 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 la.
Okay, you guys, relax. Okay, take a deep breath. Be fine. Don't worry. You ready? Oh, happy day.
Oh, happy day.
Come here. Come here. Stand up.
Happy day.
Jesus was.
Jesus walked. Jesus walked. Jesus walked.
Y'all gonna have to do better than this.
Oh, happy
All right, you guys, take it
day.
from me.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Oh, happy day.
Happy day.
Happy day.
Oh, happy day.
Jesus was.
Jesus walked. Jesus walked. Jesus walked. La la la. La la la. Well, welcome to New Forest Morphs, and I am your resident Nunn. I hope you're all having a lovely day. We certainly are. Adam's joining me this evening, aren't you, Adam? Mm-hmm. So thank you for joining us. And today we're going to be covering one or two topics, but first, let's start with the news. Okay. So this news article was actually prompted by Furious Dragon from the US of A, and he's based in Memphis, Tennessee. So, you're looking for trouble? You've come to the right place. You're looking for trouble? You've come to the right place. So we know that is the home of Elvis Presley. So welcome to Furious Dragon, and thank you for your comments this week. And we're just going to have a little look and see what was prompted today's news article. So I was talking about the comparison between the UK and the United States in terms of how many jabs were being administered and how many vaccines were going out, and I couldn't find any stats in the USA, but Furious Dragon said that there is a problem in the USA at the moment, which kind of thought I'd bring this news article across. He's saying that a lot of patients and people that are being treated are waiting too long for their second jab. And I believe the same issue is arising in the UK. So I had to look and see what the British Medical Association are recommending, and they're putting pressure on the UK government to reduce the gap between the first and second jab. So the UK government want to make it a 12-week period because of the limited amount of antivirus and the limited amount of vaccines that are available in the UK, and they believe that by spreading out a longer distance, more people can receive their first jab, which will give 70% or thereabouts efficacy. So it's almost like saying there's a limited resource and we're going to spread it out the whole population to try and get the populations immunised as best as possible. However, the medical profession have been pressurising the government to reconsider this. And what they've suggested, or what they're trying to encourage the government to do, is to shorten the period from 12 weeks down to a shorter period of perhaps 6 weeks. Now let's just have a look and see what it says. Now, the World Health Organization are recommending a gap of 4 weeks, and a lot of the different vaccine companies are saying that if you go 12 weeks, the quality of the vaccine will actually be weakened if you have a longer gap. So if you have your first jab followed by a second jab 4 weeks later, then the efficacy of the medication will be much stronger and your immune system will be stronger. So there's a dilemma between limited resources and extending the length between the two jabs at the moment, and there's a big debate going on. The other thing that's interesting is if you study the actual vaccine companies themselves, so if we have a look at, for example, Oxford AstraZeneca, they've said that the most effective, they say it will be effective within a 12-week period. So the Oxford AstraZeneca one looks as though the sorry, actually, let me just redo that. So, sorry, let's just say that again. I might have got that wrong. So, it's the the Pfizer tested efficacy should be 3 weeks apart as opposed to 12 weeks apart. So I think there's a difference between what the drug companies are saying and what the government are trying to do. So I think there's a big debate at the moment, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes. Now we have also had some of the initial results back from Israel. Now in Israel, each person in Israel have had at least 3 jabs, and the test results are coming back and they're being fed back to the drug companies that are producing the vaccines, and they're saying that the results suggest a lower protection than expected. So they were hoping that the vaccines would be a lot more powerful, but in actual fact Israel is saying they're not as powerful as they thought they were. Now this could be a combination of different things. It could be that the mutation that of the virus has got stronger, therefore they may have to adjust the vaccine. So it's a real moving target at the moment, so it's a little bit up in the air. But I just thought I'd just mention that and thank Furious Dragon to kind of raise that issue with us. Now they do say there's evidence saying that the UK variant is 30% more lethal than the old variant, which is quite substantial. And they believe it spreads up to 30 to 70% faster, and we need to continue to be cautious. We need to follow those special rules where we must stay in our homes where possible and try to contain this virus through following the government rules, and try to keep control of it, so that there's time for the vaccines to be adjusted and for the vaccines to be rolled out, because there's problems with shipping, there's problems with distributing, there's problems with having the centre set up that we can have these vaccines. So I think it will take a few more months before we see things starting to settle down. Okay, so thank you for that. Now we'll move on to some other news here. So the number of deaths in the UK dropped down to went up to 1,401. So it was 1,200 yesterday. It's gone up 200, and cases are also rising. So today we've got a report that there was 40,000 cases in the UK, which is up 4,000 on the previous day. So the virus is still out there and it's still very dangerous, so we need to take caution. We want to send our love to various people out there, and we had a couple of bits of local feedback, so let's just have a little look and see what we've got here. The first one is from Gavin, who was prompted by one of my videos to phone home, and he phoned his mother, and he said it was a lovely little prod when I was encouraging us to use media to communicate with each other, because one of the problems with lockdown is that we can't see our family. Now today I actually had a good hour with my mum and dad, and they heard through the grapevine that a lot of my nephews have suddenly jumped onto my channel, or our channel, because my nephew Joseph was having a really hard day yesterday, and he decided to watch one of my videos, and he said it was the best antidote for him. And he picked him up, and he was so buoyant. He told Grandma. So of course my mum phoned me. She says, "What's all this business about Sergeant Major and all this kind of stuff going on?" And I think my family are realising that I'm actually providing a bit of entertainment and encouragement and positive energy, which we all need, and it's filtering through to my family. So I'm absolutely delighted that my family are starting to realise and catch the vision of what we're about here. And it's all about lifting each other. So I'm very thankful for that. And I've got two other nephews that have also subscribed. So thank you to George, and we've got Matthew, who's our guitar rockist out there. His dad's into music and rock, and we've got other family members. Nigel likes his guitar playing. We may have to zoom in with some of the family and get them to play some music, because we want to really bring, and we want to really celebrate this weekend and have some music and some celebration and, you know, start rocking. With that in mind, I have actually put a request out on my last video for you guys to give me some ideas of the kind of music that you like, and I've got a few suggestions from various subscribers, and I wanted to just get your views on this. So the first one was from Hamlin. Now Hamlin, we want to send our love to you, Hamlin, and your family, your beautiful family. Thank you for supporting us on the channel. So Hamlin reckons that as a rocker, he likes me being a rocker, and he said that I reminded him of Axl Rose. I don't know if you know Axl Rose, Adam. Do you know who he is? No? Well, apparently I thought I looked more like Billy Rose with those tattoos, you know. So if anything, I'm Billy Rose, but with some hair, or a little bit more hair. Sorry, Billy. I hope you like my tattoos. So thank you for that suggestion. Now, we've also got, let's have a little look here. James has come up with lots of ideas. He reckons that he would like to see Nothing Else Matters by Metallica. Have you heard of them, Adam?
I think it's Metallica.
Metallica, sorry, Metallica, you definitely have. So we'll have a look at that. And he says, Run to the Hills by Iron Maiden, which I think would be lovely. Put your thumbs up, guys, let me know if you want me to do that one. And we've also got another suggestion, which is Hallowed Be Thy Name. Hallowed Be Thy Name, very appropriate for the Sunday maybe, we might bring that out tomorrow. And then that's by Dream, Fear of the Dark, it says here. Yeah, and the other one was Fear of the Dark. So thank you, James, for your suggestions. And we've also got another suggestion here, which I like the sound of. It was by Chris Pide, who's welcomed him back to the channel. He had a little period away from us, he's come back. And also Chris wants us to have another look at the spider gene to see whether or not there's any scientific basis, if we can have any scientific basis for helping the spider with its neurological problems. And I'd like to have a look at that and come back to you on that, Chris, and see what we can do. But he also suggested that he wanted to pick out an old but gold favourite of his, which is I think the track itself sounds good. The lyrics aren't so good, and the story that it tells is a bit frightening. But I love the sound of it, and I think it's called what did he call it? The name of the hit. I thought I wrote it down. It's from the 1994 album, and I didn't actually write it down, which is bad of me. So I think it's called The Bleeding or something. It's a pretty sad story, and it's got a really sad graphic to it, and I must admit it made me feel depressed. But the actual track itself and the actual beat and the music was brilliant. So if I do that one, I'm gonna have to rewrite the words and put a much more upbeat, positive message to it, because I did think it was a little bit damaging in terms of the lyrics. But thank you, Chris, for suggesting it, and we'll see what we can do there. So the other thing I wanted to do was I wanted to find out if anybody has any more topics for the snake take. We're going to do that weekly snake take, so if anyone's got any hot topics you want us to discuss on the weekly live show, please drop some comments in. So without any further ado, I think that's all of the news I can think of, Adam. Is there anything you wanted to say, Adam, at all?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. Thank you, Adam, for being our cameraman today. So let me see if I've missed anything else. Yes, I did miss someone else. I'd like to welcome all our subscribers this week, all the new ones we've had in the last couple of days. So we've had some new subscribers. We've had Todd, TJ and Torsten, so welcome to you. And a big welcome to Chris Hardwick, who's come and subbed, and thank you, Chris, for subbing and following us on our channel, and we give you a big shout out. Chris, as most of you know, will have his own YouTube channel, and we watch him religiously, have been doing so for the last couple of years. So thank you, Chris, for enjoying our video and I think we welcome you to our channel and look forward to hopefully doing some things with you. Now, I also want to put a special thank you to Angel for his recommendation. He's been recommending a few friends to us, and I think it was Todd, at least Todd, and probably several others, I imagine, have actually come onto the channel because Angel's been sharing our channel with all his friends, and if anyone else would like to do that, we would very much appreciate it. So let's see what else we've got here. Yes, we had some feedback from Joey and Stephen Beckett. They would like a time-lapse camera placed in the rub so that we can actually see the breeding cycle, a daily cycle of male and females and what they get up to in the rubs. Now I have, for my fishing channel, underwater cameras that are waterproof, they're poo-proof, they are physically strong, robust cameras that can get nice, clear, wide-angle pictures. So what I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about placing a camera in one of the rubs on next week's breeding cycle and then doing a fast time-lapse and showing you what it looks like and what they get up to. Now, please let me know if anyone else is interested and I'll see what I can do there. So thank you Joey and thank you Stephen for your suggestion. Jush was saying to me he loves the videos but he's struggling to keep pace. Now I know I'm a bit of a marathon man. I know I put out 5 videos in one day, and that's a lot to digest, and I will try my hardest to try and keep to part 1 and part 2, but there will always be a midweek special when we do the lives, so you'll get that extra video or 2, but I think on the whole it'll be part 1 and part 2, and I'll try to stay in that format so that everyone can keep with us and keep pace. Also I want to send some love to Patrick, one of our first subscribers, who's dedicated to the channel. He sends us lots of fires and lots of love, and he's really enjoying the energy of the channel. So thank you, Patrick. Carry on sending your love to us. We love you. And then I think that's about most of the news. I just want to make sure I've covered everything. So I think that just about covers the news. So the next thing I would like to do is I'd like to do a practical. We're going to do a little bit of a practical here, and just an update that the antiseptic F10 has arrived and I brought it in with me. Just wanted to show you what we've got. There you go, Adam, that's the F10 and this is the antiseptic version if you want to zoom in on that. And I brought with me a syringe and I brought with me a 1 litre bottle. So we'll do a little practical. Now when you're nebulizing a snake for RI, under the vet's guidance of course, they will say to you to use F10, but they won't necessarily say F10 antiseptic, they might just say the regular F10 SC, which is a disinfectant. Now we know that disinfectants are used for hard surfaces and antiseptics are used for the body and internal. So we bought it and we realised that I've actually treated 1 snake today, and I shall give you a report at the end of the week and see the difference, to see whether that snake improves as a result of this. But I thought I'd do a demonstration of how to be accurate, because we've used distilled water, which is better than tap water because all the impurities are taken out. So there's a top tip. So we fill up the bottle, 1 litre bottle, to probably about there. Now I have already put the F10 in there, but I'll just show you how it's done. You get a nice clean syringe, which is 1 milliliter. So there's a 1000 milliliter bottle there, and there's a 1 milliliter there. So that in that bottle there's 1,000 of those. Now on the very back, this is the concentrated version. So read carefully at the back before you do your mix, because if you get a diluted version and you do use the diluted version in the same ratios, this will be too weak. Or vice versa, if you end up using a concentrated one, you can end up putting it in there too strong. So at the very back it says that the parts ratio is 1 part to 250 parts of water. Okay, so that means that for every 1,000 parts of water you need 4 of these. So it's 4 to 1,000, or it's 1 to 250. Does that make sense, Alan? Yeah? So what you have here is these upper chambers. If you squeeze these chambers, the water comes all the way up not the water, the antiseptic comes all the way up and goes into this inner chamber. And then what you do is, you might want to zoom in on this, Adam, if you haven't already zoomed in. We'll take the lid off, and then we'll put that on the table, and then we'll put the syringe in. Now we make sure this is absolutely disinfected, it's clean, or it's completely clean. You put it in and you just suck up like this to that point there, and you'll see it creates a vacuum, so it holds all the fluids in. And then you put it into the bottle like that, and then I'm not going to put it in here because there's already 4 in here, I don't want to overdose it. And you just push it in there, and you do that 4 times. So once you've done it 4 times, I'll show you, I'll put it back in here so you'll see how it goes in here, look. All the way in. Oop, that wasn't too clever. And then you do that 4 times. And then once you've done that, I would then top the water up to about here. Okay? Then I'd put the lid on, and then I would just turn the bottle upside down. Don't shake it too much, just give it a little shake like that. And you'll see the bubbles are rising there, Adam? Yeah? And then you've got your solution, and that will last you a long time. You want to keep it out of the heat and keep it out of the light, it will last longer. And there you have your prepared solution for your nebulizer. So when our new nebulizer arrives, which I think is going to have more control, it's coming from the US, we'll do another little demo, and maybe we'll show you how we treat everything, maybe take you to our little hospital and actually show you how it all works with a real live snake in there. Okay? So I hope that was helpful. Adam, how much time do we have?
No, about 8 minutes.
We've got 8 minutes remaining. So let's just see what the next point is. Now, the other practical thing I was going to mention is when is it appropriate to move into antibiotics? So we'll leave behind the nebulizing approach now. Now we're going to talk antibiotics. Now we've been talking about using injecting antibiotics into an animal, and I think I've covered that this week. But we haven't really covered the fluid antibiotic. So you can actually get a liquid version of the antibiotic, and you can actually use a syringe, and you can actually open the mouth of the snake using a credit card. And it's a 2-man job this. You want 2 people, one person to hold the snake in the head, the other person to use the credit card to open up the snake, and then you would insert the syringe and you'd slowly down, and I'll show you a video of this, you would then slowly put the antibiotic in down the mouth, all under the vet's recommendation. Never do this yourself, it must all be prescribed, the animal must be swab tested, there must be the results comes back, and then the vet will recommend whether to go injection route, shot route, or whether to go orally, whether to go liquid or to go solid. But I'll just show you a little video of a professional vet and how they do this particular technique, okay?
So the person holding the snake a little trickier than an injection.
Right, here we
For
go.
oral medications, this can actually be a little trickier than an injection. You do have to hold your hand still. What can be very helpful is having a credit card to open their mouth because it's narrow and smooth. I'm going to use either a popsicle stick or a little file here. But a credit card can definitely be very helpful. So the person holding the snake should hold it firmly right behind the head. And then the person administering the medication can gently slip the tip of the credit card in the mouth to open the mouth. They don't always appreciate this. Once the mouth is open, you should see the opening to the airway right at the front of the mouth. And don't be worried if you have problems at home, because as you can see, it's not always easy for us either. Let me try this again here. A credit card would probably be easier, so I'm going to open the mouth just like that. I take my syringe, stick it towards the back of the throat, give the medication, and come out. And then let them swallow. If you're giving a big volume, you might have to give a little bit at a time. Let them swallow, take a break, do it again, give them the rest, and so on until you can get it all in. So that's about it.
Okay, well, I thought that was very helpful. So the vet was saying that if it needs a lot, you give the snake a break and then you give it some more later. But obviously, if you haven't done this before, you need to be shown by a vet before you have a go doing it yourself. We've never done it, and you might be thinking, when is it appropriate to give the antibiotics orally as opposed to with an injection? So I found a little article which is from a medical journal which applies to hospitals as opposed to reptiles, but I thought a starting position would be, why don't we study what our doctors do before they decide whether to give our antibiotics orally or whether they want to inject it. So let's have a little look at this. I've got a website here which we can have a look at, and this is from, as you can see, it's the NCBI, and the question is, do we take it orally or do we take it intravenously? So if I just get my, have a look, just think if I can get this, there we go, I can use this. So here we go, oral or intravenous, so that means by injection. Okay, so let's see what their summary information says. It says that intravenous antibiotics or injected antibiotics are overused in hospitals. Now, isn't that interesting? So if they're being overused on humans, that does beg the question, are they being overused on snakes? Now, I don't know the answer to that, so I'm going to do some further research to find out from a qualified vet what their thoughts are on this. Many infections can be managed with oral antibiotics. Oral antibiotics avoid the adverse effects of the intravenous administration. They are also usually less expensive. So there's two factors here to consider. They're less expensive, but they're also less invasive and they're less stressful for the animal, because you can see when you inject an animal and there's more potential to damage organs with a needle. So there's pros and cons to both. So we'll go into more detail and see what the pros and cons are, but this gives us just a little summary of the ideas that we've got to think about. Now, this is interesting. It says it may be possible to switch between oral therapy after a short course. So if you start with injections, it may be possible to switch to oral. So it's not saying an either or. It's actually saying you might end up starting with the injections and the vet might ask you to move on to the oral treatment. So keep an open mind on that. There are guidelines to aid the clinician with the timing of the switch so that there is no loss of efficacy. Infections that may be suitable for a short course of injection antibiotics include all these different things here, so obviously that applies to humans. So I think we'll leave it there. We are now at the end of this part one. Part two, we're going to have a few snakes in part two, and I'm going to introduce you to my Jedi collection, and we'll have basically 4 of my snakes starring in part two. I won't tell you where they are and which ones they are, but some are on the dark side and some are on the light side, and hopefully you'll enjoy that. We're also going to look at some other things, and we're going to see how Jedi forces will help us become better keepers and better breeders, and we'll be going through various Star Wars, the power of the Force and how it impacts on us as hobby breeders. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed your Saturday so far. Please enjoy the rest of this week, and tomorrow we shall bring you some more exciting and uplifting material. Thank you very much, Adam, for being our cameraman. So it's goodbye from Adam.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from... I haven't got a name. Would you like to give me a name, anyone? That's the one thing I was going to say, is for this beautiful Nunn. I haven't come up with a name, but I need a snaky name for this lovely Nunn character that will come out from time to time. So sending you lots of love, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.